Wow.
Hello, welcome everyone.
Welcome.
So,
Wow.
great. Wow. Really.
Okay.
Hi there.
Hello, welcome everyone.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you everyone for joining us for this evening or daytime, wherever you are in the world, for this celebration of Skye Jin's diploma journey, the completion of her diploma journey. If I could ask you all to mute, that would be great. And yeah, so Skye Jin's been, I'm Looby Macnamara. I'm one of Skye Jin's tutors. She's been on the Group Diploma Adventure with myself and Delvin, and we're really delighted that she's completed her 10 designs and going to be sharing about those designs, about her learnings, about with the whole diploma journey, and yeah, maybe something about her future plans and what she's learnt over this time that she's been doing her permaculture diploma. And so, yeah, well, Delvin, do you want to introduce yourself, and then I'll share about the format for the evening?
Brilliant. Yeah, E.O. Wilson said there can be no purpose more inspiriting than to begin the age of restoration, reweaving the wondrous diversity of life that still surrounds us. And wow, Skye Jin has been such an amazing, extraordinary person to work with. She's a true visionary, and it's really been life-changing for me to meet and learn with her. And I'm super proud of her for everything she's accomplished and totally inspired to see where the path will take her. So thank you everyone for joining us today. And thank you, Skye Jin, for so generously sharing your gifts and your journey with all of us. I look forward to seeing what unfolds with this extraordinary group.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it has been amazing. I'm sure you're going to be inspired and wanting to take notes and thinking about your future designs as well. So, before I hand over to Skye Jin, I'll just share the format for the evening. So we will have it here from Skye Jin. She'll be doing presentation of her portfolio, which obviously won't be all of it because it's so expansive and amazing and multi-layered, but we'll be hearing the real gems and highlights from it. And then, so we'll have about 45 minutes of that, and then there'll be time for some questions and answers. Particularly, we'll start with those people that are on the peer group. And then we'll just say celebration and wave her off, and then the peer group will meet separately and give her some feedback about they've been looking at all of her portfolio. So that's the format. If you are on the peer group, you might want to take take some time making some notes in the yeah, making some notes. And then yeah, when Skye Jin has finished doing her finished doing her presentation, if people want to put things in the chat after that, that will be great. But let's try and not put things in the chat while Skye Jin is doing her presentation, because that can be a bit distracting. So we'll just leave all that appreciations till the end. Any questions for you, Skye Jin, before we pass over, or anything?
I was thinking, will it be an idea to share my 9 small points of my little presentation with people, or is it best just to let it be a surprise what happens next?
You could do that and share the outline. I think I'll hand over to you now, and we can me and Delvin can disappear, and we'll leave you on the spotlight.
I don't disappear completely.
You won't disappear completely, but we'll let you have the full screen. People want to see you and your presentation. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, here's my little program for my 45 minutes in the chat. And yes, before I do a share screen, I'm a little nervous now because suddenly I couldn't find the Zoom link for my own party, which would have been stupid. So I was like pressing the design cafe from yesterday. So I'm here now. and the sun is shining. I am in Roskilde, Denmark, and I have kept my window open to my garden, so it's pretty windy in Denmark right now. So I can feel my garden and the May wind caressing me, and it feels like the nature is here with us. The garden is here with us, and as we all know, the garden, the nature is our biggest teacher, all of us. And yes, first of all, I want to spend a couple of minutes to say what the diploma has meant to me. And the funny thing of just mentioning where I'm at now is that I haven't moved. I moved here to Roskilde in 2016, and I'm still in the same place. But what has happened is that everything in my life is interconnected. Like the beautiful Indian carpet behind me, everything has been connected now in a grand web that is stronger and more lively and full of everything I love. And the best aspects of all the things and everything I love. And that is what design really does, that it can turn and upscale and upgrade everything we are already doing. And I think when Delvin said that sentence to me, design what you're already doing, that was a big change for me to begin with in the entering the Group Diploma Adventure. And from there on, I've connected and reconnected in many ways. So that is a big empowering thing, is that we already have everything we need. We can just design it and redesign it, and then everything can come together in the most supportive way, and we can connect with what is already existing. And I'm truly grateful for that. And a big thing is that being in the diploma, I changed my name from Jette Hejin Mortensen to Skye Jin, completely unrecognizable in many ways. But I learned that it's very normal when you enter permaculture. It's not only an education, it is basically everything I just explained, and that you're already feeling yourself, that you are actually becoming something else. It is a metamorphosis in many ways. And yeah, I changed my name. Even on my passport, everything came from just filling out the form of what is your name and what do you want to be called. And that was the first big thing. It was a calling. I changed my livelihood. My family has become part of my livelihood. And I'll tell you more about that, how, later. It has nested me in a learning mindset, a learning for life, not a model that I try to live up to, but a learning mindset, a framework, a flexible framework that I can design everything that will happen upon me, even a bad shoulder or whatever can happen. I feel like now I have a toolbox that can face that. I found a practice. You can have a practice of running or meditating or yoga. I found a design practice that supports me in connecting with nature and my deepest inner values. And that is worth everything in the world, to find that practice. And I connected with like-minded people, like you guys. And that is everything. I think we need a tribe. We are social creatures. So that was the 2 minutes of sharing that just meant to me. And now I'm doing a screen share, and I hope I cleaned up my desktop. Ta-da! So first off, I want to share my webpage. My website. This one existed before the diploma. And I'm a visual artist by training. I used to work with video, and then I transitioned into performative installations, and then into something I would call, I don't want to go into that, social sculpture. And now I would call what I work with social commons. And you are so very welcome to connect and log into this online gallery. It is, yeah, for everyone to connect and also just connect if you have any questions or want to collaborate or want to see what happens next. This is where I put all my artistic work going into permaculture. And then what I can say the diploma have done for me is that I feel now really comfortable saying that I am an artist and a permaculture designer and a teacher equally. And that has been, you know, a journey into confidence and finding your own voice and finding out how I could connect art with permaculture design, with teaching and sharing what I'm passionate about. And that has truly been a journey that I couldn't believe and I didn't have confidence to do just a couple of years ago. And I think it's here you can see a little bit what I do and specialize in now. Now I found the confidence and found a way of interpreting permaculture from my backgrounds, and I do one-on-one tutorials, workshops. Here's a link for my portfolio. And 3 things I especially love to work with is regenerative art projects. Here's a freestanding off-grid copper sculpture with the sun cell leaves shaped as oak leaves, and a scientific collaboration with the DTU Risø. I love, of course, cultural emergence and social permaculture, all the invisible things that we actually need to pay more attention to many times. Community forest garden projects mixed with art. I work as an editor for the Danish Permaculture magazine, where many of all these things meet. And then here are some pictures from the journey. I see some pictures from Applewood, of course, from the teacher training, my family, Eva Max, my close collaborator, Permaculture Denmark board, my favorite chicken, Toby. So this is also what the diploma has meant to me. And our garden has in the process of taking its onset from Design 4, become a land center. And this is also my family home. It's a small garden of 600 square meters, just with garden without the house. But we are more and more self-sufficient, and I work with a design for a small, for a family with small children. So it's a lot of perennials and a lot of berry bushes and fruit trees. And the garden is situated in Roskilde near the fjord and near forest, and it's been cultivated for 38 years by the former owners, Erik and Katrine, as an organic part ornamental garden. And they introduced me to permaculture. So I feel it's a very beautiful succession. I don't know if I should call it story, but situation for me to realize that we want to stay on this land and actually take it off the market and make the house a family common. So we want to get out of the financial money brick system in some way or another. And the garden has been, historically, it was built by the provost of Roskilde Cathedral, and it's been used for self-sufficiency for 120 years. So I feel a lot of responsibility of not just when we get old selling it off to somebody who just will make it into a cut grass garden. So I think it's important to think of when we begin to design land, of course, to think of the long-term life for this land. That's why we design permaculture. And here you see my family and what we're doing and harvesting some Korean seeds. Yes, the chicken again. If you're doing permaculture without design, you might just be doing gardening. I love this quote. Revolution disguised as gardening. And here you see a before and after picture. And some pictures from my design practice. Yes. So, what does the time say, Delvin?
You're doing fantastic. It's 19 minutes after.
Okay. So I'll go into the diploma page. Yes. I had scheduled, but we couldn't find out the technical thing. I'll do that for next time. I'll see you probably. I would play some beautiful music now and not speak and just scroll down, but just like imagine some nice music. Something. I started my diploma in 2020 with the Permaculture Association and Katrine Dolleris, who is fantastic. And then I changed at some point to the Group Diploma Adventure and connected with Delvin and Looby in 2022, I think it was. And I also had an assessment with Katie Shepard, and my interim portfolio assessment was assisted by Thomas Ramirez, who is also here today, which is fantastic. And my overall goal has been to deepen my knowledge of permaculture design, life design, and figure out basically a regenerative livelihood from the arts, from my background, and also exploring the edge of permaculture, which I'm mostly interested and curious about. And here are my 10 designs. I'm just going quickly through them so you can see the pattern of the page. So all these designs are made in Google Docs. And it has been a little hard just sitting at the computer so much. I did a lot of paperwork and also with colors and tried to do different ways of designing. Delvin and Looby supported me in trying to do that too. And also seeing this as a great way to share it with the international community, having it online, and also having them as living designs I can keep on correcting. Then I did a final reflections, connecting the whole portfolio and seeing the patterns of the portfolio. And then here is a review of relevant activities. So of course, learning, teaching, and community, of course, are three very important anchors, I think, in being a permaculturist. Here are some certificates, the PDC teacher training and foundations diploma when you have finished 2 designs. And assessment criteria inspired by Liz Postlethwaite. I found it very transparent to see that and understand how it works actually. And applying permaculture to my life since 2016 has really created a lot of ripple effects. I design everything now: my sock drawer, our diet, our holidays, transportation. It doesn't mean we are perfect, but it's a tool now, and we have a way, when you need to do something, we just pick up permaculture design as a tool. And the kids are also beginning to understand the design web, which is fantastic. One of my kids can draw all the seeds and the apples and the trees now. So wonderful with images, and kids, they understand it so quickly. Our garden and home is getting more and more a circular closed loop. Our family is well on its way to permafication. We are doing permaculture vacations more and more in nature, taking regenerative courses together, building course this year, a COP building course. My livelihood has become permaculture and art full time, which is crazy. And yeah, at the end today. So if I just zoom up, I'll just present all these 10 designs one by one, just to honor them. So the first one, you see a willow spiral going down through a forest. And I really love this image. I just found this one online. That was the only one I just found online. And I think it's a good image of, in the beginning, you're blank canvas and you're looking in the world and finding images and what others do. And then the rest of the pictures are my own. So this is the action learning pathway. I did it in the beginning because I already had this design. I'll just show you the first drawing I did in 2020. I just did this in a book. And the crazy thing is that the Land Center, the art exhibition, the visual PR for Permaculture Denmark, many of the things have become reality. Maybe not the compost family chickens because the fox has been here, but many of the designs have become reality. And I think that is the power of vision, actually, that it can be supported all the steps towards a vision, emergence of the seemingly impossible. And that design has been redone multiple times, and also in the end. And here is a design too, which is one of those I will present today, Ikigai of my life. This is my newborn son and my partner, just hours after he was born. And that was a very powerful moment. He was born the 6th of July in 2014. And that's when I found out that I had to design my life, because I was just rolling through life as reactions to reactions. But now I had the responsibility for somebody else's life. And I think becoming a parent can, for many people, be the motivation to make a life change, a very big one. The next one was my previous background, how to design contemporary art exhibitions. And that was really funny and interesting. And I realized that I can stay with one leg in my profession and not leave that. That would actually create a larger edge around me. If I just moved into an eco village and just left art and my friends and everyone behind, I would actually have lessened my edges towards different demographies and to many things. So by staying in the visual arts, I can have a bigger edge and communicate permaculture to the art world still. And the garden design for a Land Center and the family garden, which was a very big, it was a big task for me, and it was something I was really insecure about, to do a big land-based design, but doing it was a huge confidence boost. And I think for land-based designs, if you are more comfortable with social designs or vice versa, I think it's very important to do that in the beginning of the portfolio, and just go head on and use some nice principles to find confidence in doing it, because it changes everything after that. To just face those insecurities and yeah. And also realizing that I'm really nerdy about perennial vegetables, and then realizing, okay, I might have a different approach than a biologist or a farmer, but I'm actually pretty good with plants. So it's realizing that you can know something from your own way of doing it. And then the PR and printed magazine for Permaculture Denmark, which is something I'm inspired from Katrine Dolleris, my first diploma tutor. She's genius in that you should actually really consider doing one design for your local Permaculture Association as an offering, and also as a supporting of your permaculture network locally. So this was for the magazine and PR, and I think it's very valuable to do these association designs if you can, and if you feel you have something to offer there. I think it's a great use of at least one design. And then teaching Ikigai life design, that was the next tier on doing my own life design. So it is basically expanding my self-care to group care. And I also did a whole design underneath that is called From Self-Care to Group Care. That is from also an onset of having PTSD and being a minority, and flipping vulnerabilities and minorization into to care and inclusion. And then this crazy design 8, Delvin called it in the box and out of the box and around the box or something at the same time. Cooperation for livelihood, for a caring ecosystem of all permaculture teachers or any kind of profession. And it is basically, yeah, I want to share one slide from that one because I think it's very important. And I put the golden keys just up front at the content, just at page 3. And of course, you can recognize some cultural emergence principles here, but I think it's very important to see this in order to change the scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset and competition to cooperation. And this picture, many of you know that, maybe some of you are on that picture. It is a community of permaculture teachers, facilitators, and educators, cultural change makers are precious in this world. All of us have, by deep inner work, courage, and pattern disruption, been able to go upstream against the grain and face what is real and true to us. So I think it is very important to work consciously with a cooperative mindset in the permaculture world. The next one is a multicultural community garden project. So it is, you can see there are some beaming hearts in some of the designs. This one, and this one. So these are all group care designs. So there are many small hints. Yeah, and I'll also present that one. And then the 10th was a really scenified. I'll tell you more about what Scenify is. Scenified design, a small compact design of writing a book on Ikigai life design. So you can already see now there are some patterns with Ikigai and life design. Yes. Okay. Let's just take 2 breaths and maybe stretch a little bit. Because we're soon getting into the designs. So it's a lot of talking. But yeah. Okay, let's go into Ikigai of my life. Yes. Oh, not still share screen. Just, okay, here it is, screen. So this is my partner and my little son sleeping, and that was a front page. So I have a poem here, a reason for life design. When I had my first son, I woke up. When I had my first son, I could finally break down. When I had my first son, I gave life. When I had my first son, I almost died. When I had my first son, I realized I had limits. When I had my first son, I began to say no to others. When I had my first son, I began to say yes to myself. When I had my first son, life expanded in rays of warmth and strands of love. When I had my first son, our lives reconnected to communities of beings, past and present. When I had my first son, I realized the service we do to others is the rent we pay to be here on earth. So here in the beginning, I found a pattern to have. Delvin said, you need some kind of presentation or contact page in the beginning. So I'm in Google Docs, I can keep on updating them. So this was really nice to have the front page, then have something artistic or emotionally connective, and then have a contact page. And then I began to have this design brief in the beginning. The design brief from this one is, I began actually to design from 2014, but I was introduced to permaculture in 2016. So I included this in the design as a long-term life design. And then from 2016, I learned about permaculture. So this is a traditional Japanese framework for life, to finding something that is meaningful on many different levels. and I see it as a holistic design framework. And I wanted it translated. I wanted to translate it to permaculture as a new edge and something I was very curious about. And I used David Holmgren's 12 principles because I think they are very core curriculum in permaculture, and most permaculture people in the world know these. So that was great to take this chance to get really acquainted with those. And then I put in a short academic think piece kind of writing. So this is a Venn diagram of Ikigai, which has become very popular online. Basically, Ikigai means what is the meaning of life, or what is the fruit or result of life. Meaning of life is in the middle. And then there are 4 bubbles in the Venn diagram: love, what the world needs, livelihood, and good at. Sometimes online you see livelihood as money, but in permaculture we know money is just one capital of many capitals and not the best one. So I just write livelihood. It can't be just annual vegetables. Yes. And a lot of studies show that when kids come into your life, many people begin to eat organic and do many more sustainable choices. So it's a great period. It can be many other things that activate that in you. So here I did this translation of permaculture ethics to Ikigai. I find that love is definitely the people care, beaming with that. And then good at can be also people care and fair share in many ways. You can share your skills, your gifts. Earth care is really up the alley of world needs. And then your vocation, something, your livelihood and what the world needs together could be future care. And then livelihood at the bottom, if it's only livelihood and none of the above, I wouldn't say that it fits within the permaculture ethics. But we can have a debate about that. It'll be interesting. And here you see a big difference between 2014 and 22. And I was really sick with stress from my previous lifestyle and work. And here I have some keywords of how I was doing over the years, and tracking that. And yes, I also frequently during my portfolio did PMI, very simple analysis of all the tools I used. And yes, here is a link to the article. SIL is a great layered tool: self-care, community, infrastructure, and livelihood. So you can see it kind of like goes outwards, and also livelihood can be holistic in the sense here, doing a livelihood design. It's very funny with, the permaculture design notes. Delvin's work is so big that often during the diploma, he said that, oh, SIL, that's a nice tool. I never seen it before. And then I say, Delvin, it's from your book. So that just tells you that, there are so many tools in permaculture, and I found it incredibly exciting to discover and try out all these different tools and try out new ones and see how they work with what I want to do, and always taking on a new tool for every design. So the core need was to find out, what is my life beyond a career? I was just one node, as you saw in the Ikigai before. I had everything was separated, and nothing was in the Ikigai, nothing holistic about my life at that point, because that was what I was brought up to do in the world. So what I did was to move closer to nature, only say yes to jobs that inspire me. And then in the beginning, just become a member of value-based organizations, just getting the Permaculture magazine, take courses in what I love and the world needs, volunteer for things I loved, and stack functions, build in adventure, and use Ikigai on a weekly basis. And then I began to use more visuals. And in the design, I really realized I need images. I'm a very visual person, and I need images to remind me of all the choices I do how can I do them more holistically, and how can I use Ikigai as a compass? So this is part of the implementation. What happened? I took a PDC, I took courses, I met other crazy climate activists and realized that we had a lot in common. I realized I could do art projects that aligned with many of my values. And I was getting more happy, connecting more with my partner and my children. Yes, so here in the reflections, I need visual diagrams to connect to design processes. And keeping up with this framework was very, very important. So long-term visions and goals was to integrate my family even more, work on my skills, do creative and visual approaches to my design process. And yeah, visual diagrams, tons of information in one image. Yes. So that was, normally if I was teaching now, I would ask any questions, but I'm not supposed to do that in this format. So I'll just rush on to the next one. But please stretch again, or do something nice, or sip from a smoothie, or look at a nice bird or something. I'll just put on some lip balm and maybe power nap. Okay. Next design. How's time, Delvin?
You're doing great. It's 41, so we're looking at around 19 minutes or so would be the top of the hour.
Okay. Good. So design 6. So that was a big jump. Design 2 to design 6. In this one, I used a lot of images from a connective moment when I connected my art practice with my Zen and my mindfulness practice. So this installation, I lived it in 6 days and co-wrote a script together with 2 actors. And it was a transformative moment in many ways. And with this design, it also had the function of linking a Zen practice, a spiritual practice, to art, to permaculture. And the brief was to find a way to teach that comes from me, basically, and from to cultivate and nurture my own culture, as Looby puts it so great in cultural emergence. Oh, I'm going blank now. What is the one with the water jar and the flower, Looby?
Yeah, tending to your own personal culture.
Yes. Tending to your own personal culture was also a key moment for me, because in the beginning, when you are a good student and you enter a new field, you want to mirror things you see that are great. You think that's a model, I need to go towards that model. But no, you actually need to go more inwards, I would say, in many ways, to find your power and to become to fill out your niche in the garden. And that was what I was trying to do this and find confidence to fill out that niche in many ways. And it was really a step into the light design, this one. Yes, and a smooth transition from design 2, which I also linked to here. A livelihood design, finding a lot of experience of designing and quick designing weekly, maybe for many years, over 8 years. And now I wanted to expand this to share it with the world. And how to do that. So it was not new for me to stand in front of people, but I was very insecure and find it honestly uncomfortable to stand in front of people as myself. I was used to stand in front of people as a performance artist or as a somebody else, something else, but I was not comfortable just being Jette at the time, or Skye. I would already teach in the art world, art academies, and also here I had a concept of doing free workshops in drawing and mindfulness. But doing it in permaculture, something that I was so admiring of, was even more scary. So yes, I went on a teacher training at Applewood, and that was also a pivotal moment in many ways. So this was quick design for the micro teach we did at Applewood in 2023. And oh, you see now there is a complete design framework within just the survey part. So this is something I've done a lot. I've used design frameworks as tools. And you could say that that is a design within a design, or it's a connective design. And it could also be that way. But I really enjoy to have an anchor point in a design holistically, like a little nice bundle to kind of make a really thorough and multi-layered decision about something. And I even put in a PMI analysis of using the design web as a tool and a quick design. And then I made it into, I wrote it up in Google Docs to find my way to teach was the vision, and then everything put up. And then it was really helpful, of course, to have this assessed with Looby and really dig my teeth into the integration anchor points and finding out the needs I needed to get out of this design. And one of the golden keys here was storytelling, relatability, to share my life openly in a way to connect and make an image of how to use life design to share with people, and really expand integration point here. That was also something I got out of the pre-assessment. So this one is ordered into internal needs, external needs, livelihood needs, and then the golden keys were to balance input and output to make teaching Ikigai sustainable and meet both my own self-care needs, and also being ready to do it without a lot of fancy materials, or just having a creative approach that feels natural for me, mixing my background. And at this point, I realized I would really like to make a design framework to fit this process. So here is Zenify: Zing, Explore, Necessary, Irrelevant, Forge, and Yin. And it is inspired by design web, so it is non-linear. It is also inspired by Ikigai, so it is very focused on the Zing, what you love. And then Explore, look at all angles, would be the survey. Necessary would be finding the needs of the design. Irrelevant is really the Zen, one of the Zen ingredients, chopping everything off so you can see the pattern and the skeleton really of the design. Oh. Forge is to form bonds and create new shapes. Emerge, you would say. And Yin could be the pause of the design web, or the non-effort, the softness, the mystery, the emergence, and spiritual practice also. And I see it as water, a water droplet. So it's important actually to distribute attention to all the 6. I called it anchor points because I was so used to the design web, but Looby said, why not call it something different? Because the anchor points is the web. So then I found out it could be stepping stones, so more watery. Yes, so this is Zenify. And first time I used this for a quick design was so fun and uplifting. You can see in the pen here, it's done very quickly, like crazy, and it was fun. And then you could really feel that I was dancing here to a new beat that felt comfortable. And highlighted words: deep patterns, meaning of life, sharing, seeing potential in others, living in sync with deeper values, and everything comes from love. And I feel that is really what Ikigai does also. Yeah, golden keys, design frameworks for life patterns, emotion and ritual. It is in design. Yes. I used Competency Cycle. That is a survey tool for we did at Applewood, but it's also great as a tool in a design. And Visa is also great. Here, the necessary, yeah, the irrelevant is just as important as the necessary, I would actually say. And Golden Keys, I combine storytelling with personal examples, interaction, mindfulness drawing, and smaller, safer groups for sharing, which is also my internal need, smaller, safer groups. Yes, and here are the implementations. This was Lou, who's also here today, invited me to do a small session on Ikigai and life design, and which was so great at her PDC at Aunø. Here it is as a performing arts festival, and here at Permaculture Denmark's General Assembly, and here at Applewood at the Micro Teach, and here are all my slides, so you can dig your teeth deeper into Ikigai. And then a lot of reflections, of course, personal storytelling, art, quick design, mindfulness, really understanding my personal culture. And then the next step, the dream came into being, manifesting a book on Ikigai, life design, and appreciation. There's so many people you always could and should appreciate. They are all in the designs. And last design. You know the drill now. Stretch a little bit. Yes. So this is design 9. So now I would have put some Dutch music on, Barbara. So it would only have been disturbing to you. I've chose music in Icelandic and Dutch. So imagine something in Dutch. So this is, as you can see, it also has beaming hearts. So this is also a group care design, multicultural community forest garden. And oh, I forgot to talk about gardening activism. Okay, I'll do that later. So this place is called AKB Lundtoftegade. Is a social housing association of 2,000 people, 40 nationalities in the middle of Copenhagen. And I'll just go to this. And it used to be on the Danish government's, I would say, very politically discriminating list of the ghetto law. They made a ghetto law, and basically what that law does is to make immigrant populations even poorer and spread their kids out in all different schools in the city to break up the community. They would say break up the ghetto, but the point is that they don't want these communities, and there had also been some problems, of course, but you can say that has multiple reasons why there is this problem. But the most beautiful is that it has been a very activist place for many, many years. This is in the 70s, they built this huge highway, but it used to be a river. And people have been fighting this highway since the 70s. So it's a very special area in many ways. Then young people and artists moved in. And actually, these 3 people, together with a lot of different activist groups and healers and artists, it got the area off the ghetto list, which is fantastic. Healers, artists, and activists. And they made a film about it called The Healing. And these 3 people are part of TVX, which is a permanent art platform within the area. Yes, then I'll just talk about the design. So at this point, I had 2 designs left, and Delvin said, how about make something very simple and very pattern level? And I was thinking, okay, my design 9 is a huge design for 2,000 people and land-based, and okay, I have to make this simple. So how do I do this? And I chose to use a very simple design framework, SADIM, and almost no design frameworks as tools, just one. And then I thought it was really fun actually to make an image of permaculture if I should explain it to somebody for the first time. And then that situation has come up all the time here at this project. So I see permaculture here as a bread where the ethics are the flour, the main ingredient in many ways. The principles are the water that activate the flour. And then the yeast is the designer. I got this, I think, from Looby's book, the emergence being the yeast that makes the bread rise. And then the framework is the recipe that we have to follow to make this bread a successful bread. And this image is so easy for people to understand, and I use it all the time when I introduce people to permaculture. And what I found out with this community is that it's very important to foster the intro level of permaculture. And okay, I'll talk about that design later. So this was an inclusive permaculture community forest garden design. And I began now to include learning goals and reflections on the design structure here at my design brief here nearing the end of the diploma. So you begin to, I feel after the 5th design, reflect more and more and more on your design. And maybe it becomes, I wouldn't say more simple, but you begin to find out what is necessary and what is unnecessary in the design. And here in the beginning of my design, I often have as the art part, here I had an introduction part to why I do what I do here. And one of them was decolonizing public art. So the headlines here, I'm moving towards becoming an artist that avoids being a dominant imposing force, like, you know, a modernist architectural project or something. I'm an energy weaver instead, and visionary that ignites and emerges creative communities and living commons. And I also design my demise in a system, which I think is very important. Decolonizing permaculture also was very important in this design, always emphasizing that permaculture comes from indigenous people and indigenous wisdom and has been translated into a Western scientific realm. And rather than fighting change, plants and people and nationalities, we can give energy to observation and integration on all level of nature's want for diversity. So what we did with also our choices of plants and inclusion of different cultures was to look to diversity. What thrives in the temperate climate and what are people's wishes and needs. Something I did here was to survey existing ethics. And there were many. Some of them also, there are a lot of social enterprises here that work really with fantastic things. And we did a lot of collaborative, I mean, maybe all of the anchor points have some collaborative elements. And it was really important in the survey stage, to build trust, social bonds, understand the culture and Lundtoftegade and its history, be co-creative and do inclusive permaculture, survey resource people, and share information. Then I also reflected on previous art projects, forces and weaknesses. And what I found is that they really had strong people care and fair share ethics. Maybe the earth care was what we were really adding to with this project. The cut grass areas in all these housing associations, unused square meters, and a lot of wishes actually from the residents for more gardening areas. Oh, there's a wasp. So needs were to build up soil and biodiversity as co-creation. And then I referenced some of my previous designs. Why not use those designs in this design? So inclusive regenerative culture, which is something I really worked with in Design 7, how to do safe spaces and inclusion. Make permaculture accessible to new demographics, people who might not speak Danish or English very well, who might not have long education, or have different gardening traditions, share opportunities with other permaculture teachers, which is Design 8 in many ways. So here are survey maps, structures and uses, sector analysis, zones, SADIM analysis. We did this in collaboration. Analysis of resource people, an onion diagram, stakeholder diagram, golden keys of the different ethics, done in collaboration also. And then we found some principles for plants. This is a picture from my own garden that I did for my children. A blackberry cherry design, but it was just finding patterns, a lot of repetitions of recognizable and really nice crops that people like. And a 3-year implementation plan and a budget. And yeah, we have been really lucky with the fundraising, so that is really nice. And then design map I did together with Eva Max. And it is just so many things on this design have changed, but it was just nice to have a map and do it. And then you can begin to have a conversation with people. And this project has become part of gardening is activism, linking permaculture, art, and activism together. And I would call it introducing permaculture ethics, principles, and design frameworks translated into contemporary art as workshop curriculums and community forest gardens as ecosystem classrooms to really embody and immerse people in what is a living ecosystem close to where they live. And then also, of course, that is a physical frame. And then the regenerative cultures, the invisible design, the glue between people, and all that through learning communities as social commons. So really focusing on education and patterns throughout the year to upscale, upgrade the knowledge level of an area. And the implementation, this is before and after picture. And this is something I'm really excited about. You can see my partner and my oldest kid on both these pictures, or maybe just a kid on one of them. And this has been a really successful stacking of functions. So my partner, this was from the first workshop. He was like, well, this is actually great to volunteer and work for a whole day for other people. I never thought this could be so much fun. And it is also stacking functions of, teaching my kids about permaculture, taking leadership, and not thinking I have to be paid for this, or this why are we doing this for other people. It's all a learning experience, and all connections. Now they're coming home actually. Wow. And yes, so now my partner is actually one of the driving forces in us coming to Skye often. He's like, shouldn't we go there and build a pergola or something? I'm bringing my colleague, so that is really wonderful. And we planted yes. So here it looked like this when we started. We did a large brushwood fence, and we used hand power as much as possible. And the great thing is that now the maintenance director of the area really loves the garden because they're saving so much money. They don't need to cut the grass anymore, and all the wood cuttings are stored here in the brushwood fence. And I'm just thinking they get a taste of what a closed loop system feels like, and it feels like abundance. And here's the first workshop of dig-free potatoes. The next one, build a hugel and had the children workshops. Even the posh ladies with dogs can find a place here. Harvesting crops, having children-friendly workshops, expanding the garden network to an art institution. And here, just wonderful eating together, sharing together. I built 2 dance programs, so I need to work on that. And quick design again, of course, for the maintenance. Maintenance is so important. I think that's a design in itself. So of course, redundancy is part of maintenance, and that is always includes learning design to upgrade other people, so you will become redundant at some point, and make a pattern for that. Stark evaluation tool. Yes, golden keys. Integrate, collaborate closely with the landowner, basis to share culture, plans from people wishes, share leadership from an early stage, transparent decisions, curious about people, admit mistakes, find solutions, find key volunteers and give them the keys, literally. Show, don't tell. Problems are solutions. Use conflicts to generate better processes. And create project resilience. Yes, and wider ownership with networks. Yeah, and these two people are so important for this project, Eva and Oliver. And yeah, appreciate people is very important. Oh, I feel I'm running behind time-wise.
You're doing great. We have about 10 more minutes. It was our intention to finish at 1:15, but
well, that actually is in it. Yeah, it's an intention to finish. So maybe you could wrap up so we have got some time for questions.
Yeah,
It would be great. See Zenify one more time.
What is the most important? Okay, so this one, reflections on doing the diploma in permaculture. Yeah, you know the cultural emergence principle, beauty in completion, the end makes sense of the beginning. And it really does. So this is also some top tips in this. I wouldn't call it a design, but yeah, a share of the patterns. It should be in your own voice doing the diploma. And I felt, for me, it was a movement from inwards to outwards, you know, like breathing, being true and authentic, and seeking edges and collaborations from inside to outside, always true friendships. I have 2 land-based designs, 2 teaching designs. And with the 2 land-based designs, the gardens had become classrooms, and I teach in them. So it's many stacking of functions, which is great. And a great need fulfilled, and 2 collaborative PR and network designs. And in all my designs, I use my background as a multimedia artist. Yes, favorite slides. You've seen one of them, the bread. And here is one of the slides from my garden design, which was so empowering to do, and to find some plant names in original languages. And here is design 8, where I use all the frameworks as anchor points. Some other favorite slides of quick designs. And next steps for me is to inspire other people to do transformative life designs. And I would like to, at some point, support others in doing creative diploma designs as a tutor. And I would really love to write a book, and keep on expanding permaculture and have fun with permaculture and being creative. And these 2 people, you know them. I wrote, I found my place in permaculture because of you 2, Gaius, and your guidance. And I think what is very important is that there are no perfect teachers in permaculture, but there are the right teachers for you. And that is, I think, also part of diversity. We have to find where our stream goes. And I'm forever grateful to Permaculture Association Britain and Permaculture Denmark, to Marley Boomkins, Alexandra Kuduya, and Barbara Shelters for being a fantastic guild, and all my colleagues and people I've worked with, Eva and Josef. I couldn't have done it without you. And all these people I just want to also mention in the room. And then I have the card here. Emergence happens in relationships, and this is my favorite principle, and I think it says so much about permaculture and life, that life is reciprocative. We need the trees to breathe. We need the child needs the parent, the day needs the night, and everything in this world is created through dynamic relationships. And I really hope that this is a connected moment, that you would like to connect. And some of you might not be on social media, but if you are, you can connect on Skye Jin Artist and write me an email if there's anything you're curious about, or if you just want to show me your work. I would be happy to share that. So I hope this is just the beginning of creating networks and sharing and building together. And yes, the last thing I want to share is a gift from me and Delvin, which is this one. It is part of Delvin's permaculture design deck, and it is with Zenify, so it is a free. Let me see if I can put the links here. It's a free download of the cards, and to all. How can I do it to all? Everyone. Here we go. And stop sharing. Yes. Yes.
Wow. That was really quite amazing. Let me put me and Delvin on the spotlight there. Wow, well, what a journey it's been, Skye Jin, and I really feel like we all had a sense of the immense growth and transformation and the journey of discovery that you've been on your permaculture diploma, and you've really made permaculture your own and taken it to new exciting places. Yeah, it's really exciting. We have got a very small amount of time now to hear any questions from the peer group, and while they're maybe actually I'll Delvin, would you like to just share something now while the peer group are gathering any questions, and they can put their hands up if you've got just from the peer group firstly was.
Wow, super magical, super motivating. Yeah, it's a milestone moment for me to have this experience with all of you and feel the boost, the soul boost from Skye Jin. And I trust this will integrate over time, and you can go back in at your own pace and explore the designs and take in the golden keys. And good, we had a few questions here. You want to call people in, Looby?
Yeah, so we'll go for Barbara and then Thomas. Maybe I'll play around with these spotlights. Barbara, do you want to unmute and share your question?
Hi, Skye. Thanks for this inspiring presentation. I was wondering, so I heard in the presentation, I heard a bit about how you use principles on your diploma path, and I was wondering, how did you use, or did you, and how did you use principles in your designs?
Well, I use them as questions, of course. Sometimes I used a lot of them in, for instance, in Design 4, I used them almost as, headlines for things to be aware of, for instance, in maintenance of the garden and how to approach the garden. So I feel that the principles are always a condensed form of a greater body of knowledge and action learning, direct experience. So they have to be meaningful to you. So I think in the beginning, you just bombard yourself with different principles, and then some of them stick more. So I think at the end, I found that some of them stuck more than others in a way. So that's why I think in the beginning, the principles were very vast. For instance, all of Holmgren's 12 principles maybe, or a very big selection of the cultural emergence, and also from Delvin's card deck. When you get the card deck, you want to use all the principles. And then, of course, like it can feel like just a stylistic exercise. But I think at the end, they become, some of them that are very important to you become fluent in a way, and like sayings. So I use them almost as images and sayings that remind me of direct experience.
Yeah, thank you, Skye Jin. Thanks, Barbara, for that question. I'm loving people are putting, you know, appreciations for you in the chat. You might also want to, when you're putting your appreciation, share like one particular highlight or one particular lesson you've learned as well, just to anchor that in and share. And we'll save the chat for you, Skye Jin, to read.
Bring in
than
hearts. Hearts for
Um,
everyone.
Yeah, so yeah, Thomas, your question.
Yeah, finally unmuted. Great. Yes, so much to love in your presentation, you know, and in your portfolio, you know, I was really, yeah, very, very inspired by, especially how you like it was a continuous journey of integration, you know, the using the ikigai, overlaying it with the ethics, and that's being a theme that runs through several designs, and then distilling that into the Zenify, you know, like this, to your own approach to design. I was wondering how you, hoping to, like, whether and how you might be hoping to share some of those innovations that you've developed there. And yeah, so what's the update on the book? Is it happening?
I have a book tutorial with Looby coming up soon. I'll probably also have one with Delvin, and then I might take the courage to write to Maddie or somebody else and see what can pan out. But I think I would really like to do something very accessible, and really fall in love with the introduction level of permaculture. And I think that's very important. And also what we do in Skovhavlund, and also in Permaculture Denmark, actually, we copied the British introduction to permaculture level as a certified level. So I think that is also becoming a boost for the Danish movement to have this certified introduction level here. So I'm thinking, of course, I'm thinking of cards and games and, you know, and we realized in the visionary leadership course we had with John Young and Looby that play is the highest form of, you know, being human. And I was in my design 10, I also quote, I can't remember, Delvin remembered what the source is, but we should be called Homo ludens instead of Homo sapiens, the playful Homo. And I think that is really saying that play it's really a state of mind that everything great comes from, really, if you immerse yourself in the mindset of play, how you are when you are playful, probably kind-hearted and open and curious and creative. So was I answering your question? In the beginning of my action learning pathway, I wanted to do, for instance, a dinner planning game for kids. So many of these things I really want to put out in the world, and I'm already working on my leaving the world design for my kids. So I'm really unsentimental about dying at some point, and also handing over my house and this land to my children and my family in the future. And I think permaculture makes demise and death exciting in some ways, because everything can be a design, and everything can be life that you are composting and giving, handing over to the next generation. So it excites me to design games that will be here when I'm dead.
Fantastic. Well, it's awesome, and yeah, I look forward to seeing those games come our way. Hopefully before I'm gone.
Stay healthy.
Lovely. Thank you. Yeah, I think we'll all look forward to more games from you. Any other of the peer group that want to ask a question? Lou.
Yay.
Yeah, thank you. Wow, thank you so much for this presentation. And I just wanted to mirror everybody's comments that it's really inspiring, the whole portfolio. And I found myself like reading this portfolio was a very different experience for me than the other ones that I've read, in the way that I was really, really moved by it. And I think it was this philosophy that you brought so much of yourself to it, and you brought like so many like deeper thoughts about the philosophy of culture and supporting each other in a group, and about life itself, which I found really, really moving. And it was lovely to hear about how the changes that you made to your personal sustainability, changing your actual livelihood. And so my question was that, like, what was the most important change for you in your life, your personal life, that came from going through this giant process that you went through?
I'm also getting moved by you, Lou. I just want to say out loud here that Lou has also been one of my great role models in the Danish permaculture movement, been in the Permaculture Denmark board for 7 years, and really a pioneer plant in the Danish permaculture movement. It means a lot, Lou. I'm tearing up here, but I think the biggest thing was actually to redesign my existing career, my existing background. And in many ways, that was also a very honest and brutal and also giving process, because when you recompose or redesign what you already have, you have so much already. You have competence, you might have a paper degree, or you might have a lot of contacts and existing jobs, but then beginning to come with demands. Care writers, a care writer, something we know from the music industry, where you have a list of demands. Here it's more down to earth, like I need breaks every 45 minutes and different things like that. And people actually accepting that in the art world was really huge. And then beginning to understand principles. We even used, Delvin's card deck at one job to draw different cards, and one of them was ruthless honesty and cooperation. And seeing art professionals actually begin to be interested in permaculture, coming to intro courses, and then eventually now journeying onwards to their own permaculture journey. I think that is the most rewarding edge to have contributed in. And that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't stayed within the arts. So yeah, redesign what you're already doing.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's wonderful. Was there one last question, and then we'll bring things. Anna.
Yay, Anna.
Skye sister, thank you so much for your presentation. I have loads of notes because I was learning so much from your presentation. I have a very short question, which is there anything you'd have done differently if you knew what you know today at the beginning?
Oh, that's a very good question, actually. I think I would have had a more holistic write-up process. And I think everybody would say that, because there was too much staying up late at night on the computer. And maybe I would take a year more and then danced more or baked more cake and had more pause, take up more space. So I think sometimes the write-up we are too hard on ourselves. And then I think I would have be more conscious about, because I experienced with Alexandra and Barbara and Marley what a great guild can do. So I think also from the beginning, like really, really focusing on nurturing a great guild. Also, and then just with that guild, yeah, be also having a lot of social time. Yeah, I think we often like think pause and all these things are like something we do as an afterthought. But I think actually they are maintenance. Yeah, I don't know if it's a good question answer.
Yeah, no, that was great. That was really a brilliant question. I'm just gonna spotlight myself
Am I
and
leading?
Delvin. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
sorry.
not yet. We're not finished this bit yet, Skye. Yeah, wow. Well, that was amazing, and I love the questions that were coming, and asking you to reflect on your journey there. It's been really lovely, and I'm sure that everyone is going to want to go and explore your portfolio more and just pull out the learnings, because there were so many of them in there. It was even just in the last hour, you've just fed us with loads of inspiration and juicy nuggets of inspiration and like learnings and possibilities for each of us. And yeah, it's been really wonderful. Delvin, do you want to say anything before I bring a special guest onto this spotlight?
So much gratitude, Skye Jin, and all of the people that are gathered here to celebrate this moment. And may the ripples of this presentation motivate and inspire us to do more design and more good in the world.
Yeah. So here we have Kath from the Permaculture Association, and she has something very special to show you here.
Congratulations, Skye Jin. What a beautiful presentation. And I can't wait to explore your website a lot further and your portfolio. But huge congratulations. This will be winging its way to you. Not sure how long it'll take, but it will be winging its way to you. So there you go. It's a very special piece of paper.
Like you send it by post?
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you.
So there you
And
go.
I love your dress, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
I love 70s patterns.
Thank you. But yes,
Yeah,
huge congratulations. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you, finally.
Yes, you too.
Yeah, wow. Well, this is the moment that you've been, working for so long with, and you will have a real certificate in the post. And yeah, please do share in the chat the link to your portfolio as well. And maybe you've already done it, but so people can go and click on that now and go and explore more. And I'm just I think it would be nice to kind of take spotlights off, and then maybe you want to put yourself on gallery view, and we could all just unmute and just give Skye the most amazing whoosh of encouragement and joy and celebration back. And then if you're on the peer group, and for Skye, just stay put for a minute after everyone's gone, but let's all of us just really celebrate this amazing journey that Skye's been on, and just send her some love and appreciation and joy. If you'd like to unmute and just gather up that all that inspiration and joy. Right, feeling ready to receive it. Okay, on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Whoosh!
Thank you so much. And promise we'll stay in each other's lives, right?
Of course, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, thank you everyone for joining, and yeah, really appreciate you being here. And just the peer group, stay for a minute. Thank you everyone. And Delvin, you could stop the recording there.